listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Plowman, and I am the Program Coordinator for the Pace University Paralegal Certificate Program. With me this evening is Jamie Liotta from Pace University, and together we are going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know and then some about the Pace Paralegal Program. Now, before we get started, just one housekeeping matter. This system is very, very sensitive. So, other than Jamie and myself, everybody is on mute. But that does not mean we don't want your questions. We are always ready, willing, and able, and excited to take your questions. So if you do have any questions, please do feel free to type them into the questions box on your GoToWebinar toolbar. Those questions will pop up on my screen, and I will read them out loud. Neither Jamie or myself will answer them. Now, we are going to be opening the webinar up to questions, of course, at the end of the session. But if anything pops into your mind as we are going through, please do feel free to type it as you are thinking about it. And if I can reasonably take a moment, take a break to answer, I will certainly read that question aloud and do so. Now, what we are going to do tonight is talk about the paralegal profession in general a little bit. Then we're going to talk about the specifics of the PACE program, and then we are going to get into all that good technical information about financing and registration and upcoming classes and such. So let's get started. Now, the paralegal profession in general. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the paralegal profession is projected to grow by about 8% between 2014 and 2024. Now, this is actually a fairly good rate of growth, especially since when the economy really went on a downslide back in 2009, 2010. There were, of course, a lot of issues with law firms being able to keep up with the salaries of their attorneys and their associates. And one of the things that law firms found was fairly cost effective for them to do was to bring in paralegals. Because for all intents and purposes, paralegals can do the same type of work as a young attorney or associate, but for, of course, advising clients and going to court. But the writing, the research, the meeting with clients, the file work, etc., those were all tasks that law firms found they could adequately delegate to paralegals, and the paralegals were doing a really good job with them. Now, there are also areas of law which I like to refer to as niche areas, where paralegals are uniquely situated to have a lot of responsibility and a lot of autonomy. Now, in addition to being involved in the paralegal program, I'm also a practicing attorney in New York. And although my specialty is federal criminal defense, I work for a solo practitioner. And when you work for a solo, sometimes you do a little bit of everything. So I've gotten involved in some real estate transactions over the years, and again, not my specialty. So in one transaction in particular, I really relied on the paralegal uh, who was working for the attorney representing the other side of the transaction quite a bit. I called her all the time to help with adjustments, to talk about the various documents that we needed to draft or that I needed to draft, and she was absolutely wonderful. When I went to the closing, she handled the closing pretty much from beginning to end, and actually while the attorney was in the office, I didn't meet him once. So that paralegal obviously had a lot of responsibility, did an absolutely wonderful job, and is a great example of those areas of the law where once you get your foot in the door and you prove yourself, you can really have quite a bit of responsibility. So areas like real estate can be a little bit form heavy. Also, intellectual property law, immigration law, if you're ready, willing, and able to keep up with the ever-changing immigration laws, great area for paralegals. And then areas that unfortunately never kind of go away, especially if the economy is down, even when it's up. Bankruptcy, and sometimes going hand in hand with that, family law, matrimonial law. So experienced and formally trained paralegals certainly have have a step up over those who do not have that experience or that education. Now, this is my favorite slide. Paralegal is a better job than a lawyer. Just another quick story. This will be my, I think, probably last story that I'll tell tonight before we get into or at least until to get into the program itself. Um, a good example of this slide, or this slide coming to life, is several years ago I was working on a huge federal civil litigation, and on New Year's Eve day, the defendant turned over 250,000 documents in discovery. Now, of course, there was no way that we were going to be able to go through all of those documents. We were on an expedited trial schedule, and it just wasn't going to happen. So we brought about 10 paralegals in from the program to help us cull through those documents. Now, at the outset, it really was a sort of straightforward doc review type task that they were working on. We needed to know what was there. But as they got more comfortable with the case, with the documents, what we were going for, they were integral in pulling documents for us, coming to court with us, helping us with research and writing motions and such, and really did a spectacular job and really helped so much in organizing us and just getting us into the courtroom. Quite frankly, it was a terrible way to start the new year, getting all of those documents, and I knew that we would never be able to get through all of that on our own. So the paralegals who came in and helped us were absolutely necessary in getting us through all of that work. Now, the difference between myself and the paralegals was that they worked a fairly standard day of 10 to 6 or 9 to 5, something like that, whereas I was still sitting in the conference room eating a pizza for one and marking exhibits at 3 o'clock in the morning. So certainly, when you work for a litigation firm and you're in the middle of trial, it's going to be a stressful time no matter what. But, certainly the paralegal is not taking as much of the stress home as the lawyer is. You're not getting the calls in the middle of the night from the clients as the lawyer is. But you're still involved in the excitement of a trial and getting ready for a trial. So that the job of paralegal certainly does, as far as ABA Journal is concerned, outranks the job of a lawyer. Although I do love being a lawyer as well. All right. You will often see when you are looking for jobs online that employers, whether they be law firms or legal departments, are looking for someone who either has paralegal experience or paralegal education. And quite frankly, those two are interchangeable as far as we're concerned. Really what that employer is looking for is someone who's not going to be, for lack of a better term, a deer caught in headlights if they're given a task on the first day they walk into the office. Now, if I were to hand you a file and ask you to draft a summons and complaint, someone who has taken the paralegal program at PACE or has some other paralegal education or who has paralegal experience is going to be able to take that file and get started on a nice draft of a summons and complaint. Now, someone who doesn't have education or experience we're going to have to take a step back and explain this is what a summons and complaint is, this is how it's used in the litigation process. Now, I always have all good intents to train the paralegals who come into my office, but I don't often have the time to do it, and a lot of attorneys don't, unfortunately. So in the time that it takes to explain what that summons and complaint is and how it's used in the litigation process, sometimes it's easier for me just to draft it myself. So when you see a job posting that's looking for someone with education or experience, again, it's fairly interchangeable. What they're looking for is someone who's not going to have a major learning curve as they're coming into the office. Now, in any new job, of course, there's going to be a learning curve at that new employer, but having that baseline legal knowledge is something that's really important to bring into a law firm so you can really get started off of the bat. All right, and then finally, the National Association of Legal Assistants does find that those who have a paralegal certificate make slightly more than those who do not. And certainly every little bit helps when it comes to salary and such. We're going to talk a little bit more about job strategies etc. once we get a little further along in the presentation this evening. But I will say one of the questions that I often get when I do these presentations is, once I get out there and start looking for a job, how much money am I going to make? And quite frankly, it depends upon where you're going to work. If you are going to work for a larger Wall Street type firm, certainly there's more money in the coffers for their paralegals than there would be if you're working for a solo practitioner or a boutique type law firm. Of course, being in New York City in the tri-state area, that's a huge market. So that is also very helpful in being able to negotiate a fair salary and a good salary for you. So, it really does come down to what sort of firm you're working in or legal department and where you're looking for a job. But we'll talk about job strategies a little bit more as we move forward. Now, with all of that said and done, let us talk about the PACE program specifically. Now, the PACE program is a 5-month intensive paralegal certificate program that's broken down into 2 core components. The first one is the Essential Skills class. That is basically an introduction to the law, legal research, legal writing, courthouse structure, legal terminology. On the first day you walk into class, you'll be assigned a hypothetical client and fact pattern, and you'll work that client and fact pattern the whole way through in all of your writing assignments for the class. So you'll start off with simpler writing assignments such as a demand letter or client correspondence and work your way up to that summons and complaint that I talked about before, and I'm going to talk about again. It's my favorite example. The summons and complaint, discovery demands, all the way up to a summary judgment motion or inter-office memo. At the end of the semester, you will have a wonderful client file folder with all of your documents in it, also known as a writing sample to show to prospective employers that not only do you know what all of these documents are and how they're used in the litigation process, but here are the documents that you yourself have drafted. Excuse me. Also in Essential Skills, you will learn legal research on Westlaw and Lexis, the 2 main legal databases, and we're going to talk about those a little bit more. For Essential Skills, we'll talk about that schedule a little bit later too, but that will be once a week for the entire semester. For the remainder of this semester, it will be broken down into 4 different substantive areas of law. So you'll have 4 weeks of tort law, 4 weeks of contracts, 4 of New York procedures, and 4 of family law. If you're doing the math, that's 4 classes, 4 weeks, that's only 4 months. The rest of the classes are given over to Essential Skills for either computer lab time or law library time or extra Essential Skills classes, etc. For each one of your substantive classes, you will submit 1 writing assignment and take 1 final exam. And for each substantive class, you must pass it with a 70% average or higher. For Essential Skills, you must pass the writing component that we just talked about with 70% or higher. And then you will also take 3 exams over the course of the semester, again, 70% or higher. Cumulative average required to pass. Excuse me. Now, another major component of the program, and we've been looking at this slide for a little while now, is our amazing website, Paralegal Space. Now, at the outset, Paralegal Space is a communications portal among students, instructors, and administrators. We post announcements for you. This is where you can find your syllabi, etc. But it also has amazing study support to accompany each one of your classes. So, once you have registered for the program and shortly before classes start, you will receive your login to Paralegal Space. And when you log into the site, this is what you will see. Now, I used our fall 2016 site, so we would get a good idea of what it looked like for recent announcements, etc. But as you can see here, we love to communicate with you via announcement. It's a great way to share information with the entire class when announcements are posted you will get an email notification with the body of the announcement. But you can see over here on the left-hand side, there are a whole series of links with all sorts of good stuff for your classes. So we are going to go through a couple of those right now. The first one is the main program syllabus. Now, this is our fall 2016 syllabus, so our fall 2017 syllabus is going to be strikingly similar, as would a spring syllabus. But you can see here over on the left-hand side, everything that you are going to do for essential skills is laid out for you. And of course, we only got about half of it on this screenshot, but you can see here all of your reading assignments are set out for you. All of your writing assignments are set out for you. So you'll know as soon as you take a look at the syllabus that during week 6, your first writing assignments will be assigned and they will be due during week 8. So certainly when we have a lot of built-in holidays in the fall, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the various Jewish holidays, etc., and you may not be able to come to class or know that things will be a little bit busy during that time, you can certainly gauge your time accordingly in knowing when your work is due and what you have to do during any given week. Now, on the right-hand side, you can see what is listed is the schedule for your particular classes. That is because your substantive instructors will post his or her own individual syllabi for their courses shortly before that course starts. Now, this is the resources link on the site. This isn't the main area of study support. We're going to get into that next, but it is an area of the site where your instructors and administrators will post additional resources that we all feel will be helpful to you as you are navigating through the materials and learning the foreign language of the law. Now, oh, I hear that we lost sound. Uh-oh, that's no good. Let's see what's going on. Can you hear me, Jamie? Let's see what's going on here. If anyone is having a problem with my sound, if you could just type into the questions box and let me know if you're having any issues, that would be helpful. Certainly want to make sure that you can hear me. Okay. I don't mean to point the finger, Jamie. It might be you. No, it doesn't seem. I've only heard from one person. I will say I've only heard from one person, but there are no sound issues on the other end. So, and I'm showing that my microphone is working fine. So, if anybody else has any sound issues, if you could just type it into the questions box and let me know, and I'll try to troubleshoot on this end. But we'll also try to troubleshoot for Jamie a little bit to make sure that she doesn't have any issues. Hang on a second. I turned Jamie's audio off, so let's turn her back on. Jamie, can you hear me? All right, it looks like we might have some sound issues on Jamie's end, but we will get that worked out. Yes, that's perfect. She's going to drop out but come back in. So, okay. So we will wait for Jamie to come back in. It's not her turn yet to talk about registration and financing, so we'll be okay in the interim. We'll keep plugging along. All right, back to our resources link on the site. Again, as I mentioned, this is an area where your instructors and administrators will post additional materials for you. This is also where you will find materials for your New York procedures class. We don't have the same structured study support for procedures as we do for our other classes, as those classes are developed individually by each one of the instructors. So you will find lots of materials for New York procedures here, and once you have access to the site, you can certainly click around and see what is available. But the main area of the site of study support that you will work through is under, I should probably go back and show it to you, is under the Essential Skills support link and then the support links for your other 3 substantive classes. This is where you can find support for each of those classes, and you will find support that tracks each one of the chapters in your books for Essential Skills, Tort Law, Contracts, and Family Law. Now, what we recommend is that you read the materials prior to coming to class, come to class and listen to and participate in the lectures, and then work through the corresponding study support. Now, the study support really does run the gamut, so you will find some charts and graphs. You will find some fun demonstrations to work through. You will find exercises, tools, all sorts of things, exercises to work through on the site, all sorts of interactive things to help you, again, I mentioned this before, learn the foreign language of the law. Learning the law can be like learning a foreign language, and not just because there's a lot of Latin involved. It's a different way of thinking, it's a different way of speaking, and practice makes perfect, as with anything. So it definitely is helpful and also required, but more so helpful, to work through the corresponding support that is available to you on the site. We have interactive citation labs that you can work through to make sure that you are understanding how to both read and write federal and state citations once you get into your legal writing and legal research section. And we have tons of mock exams. Now, at the end of each segment of materials that you're working on in Essential Skills, you will have mock exams and Quizlets and such that you will be able to work through. Those are just for you. They're for your review. Make sure you understand the various materials that you're going through. Pinpoint any areas where you may need more help, areas where you may already be experts. But as you're working through the mock exams, you will see here that the exams will give you immediate grading gratification, although nothing is for a grade. Again, it's just nothing within the mock exams is for a grade. It's just for your review. But not only will you be able to see what the correct answer is, but you will also get an explanation of why the correct answer is in fact correct. If you need more help with that particular area, you can click on the study link and get additional study support in that particular area or concept. Now, in addition to the support that tracks the chapters in Essential Skills, Torts, Contracts, and Family Law, we have a couple additional labs on the site for you to work through. The first one that we're going to take a look at tonight is the Law Library Lab. Now, this is an area of the site where you can familiarize yourself with the types of materials you will find in an actual law library or online on Westlaw or Lexis. You can't actually search in a law library, but as you are beginning your study of legal research, it is a great way to, once again, familiarize yourself with the materials you'll be looking at and the materials you'll be relying upon once you start your legal writing projects. So what you will do is you'll click on the book you want to take a look at in the stacks, and that book will open up. You can learn, again, everything you ever wanted to know and then some about that particular book, those materials. Over here on the right-hand side, you can click through and learn the best way to research in these books. Do I start in the table of contents? Is there an index? What do I do? How do I find what I need to find? being an efficient researcher is a really important skill for a paralegal. So we definitely want you to be comfortable with legal research. We'll give you, as you can see right here, how to work through these materials, how to be efficient, how to find what you need to find when you need to find it without driving yourself crazy. Now, with that being said, you also will have access to the two main legal databases that attorneys, law firms, legal departments, etc. use, Westlaw and Lexis. Now, you will have access to Westlaw for the duration of the program, to Lexis for 1 year from your start date. So even when you have successfully completed the program, you will still have Lexis access. Now, Westlaw and Lexis are substantially similar, but you don't know what you're going to get in practice. Law firms, legal departments generally have one or the other because Westlaw and Lexis are very, very expensive. In practice, when you are researching, as the clock is ticking, the dollar signs are going up. So again, that also ties into being an efficient researcher. You don't want the dollar signs to be going up in practice. In the program, you can stay logged on to Westlaw and Lexis for however long you want. It is your opportunity to get comfortable, to see what search terms work for you. If you, and let's just take a look at our Lexis slide, again, like I said, substantially similar. If you are working on an automobile accident case and you enter into either Westlaw or Lexis, automobile accident, negligence, injuries, looking for cases, either of the sites is going to come back and say to you, here are a million plus cases that you should take a look at, or there are just far too many cases for us to pull. We can't even give you all the cases that you need to take a look at. So again, efficiency, practicing what's going to work. What should I type in here? What's not going to work? Westlaw and Lexis also have amazing tutorials and researches and resources to assist you with becoming comfortable with both of the sites. So we do strongly recommend that while you have access to these sites, you do work through the various materials that both of the sites make available to you. There are, short little videos that you can take a look at, searching through statutes, searching for case law. They have webinars that they often schedule with assistance and with tips and such. So, they definitely do have a lot of amazing resources that we do point in your direction and recommend that you work through. All right, and then we also have a writing lab. There's no reinventing the wheel in the law. If you have already drafted, I'll use the example again, a summons and complaint for an automobile accident case 6 months ago, and a new automobile accident case comes into your office. You are going to take that old summons and complaint, take out the old facts, put in the new, and polish it up nicely. So I used to be able to say I can count on one hand the number of times I started a motion or a brief entirely from scratch. I've been practicing for a little while now, so I have to say I can count on two hands. But templates are just that's what we all use. So you're always going to work from a template. You're always going to want to take a look at a template. So here are templates for your writing assignments. Now you will have access to the New York templates because we're in New York, but there are templates and instructions for all U.S. jurisdictions and the federal jurisdiction available to you. Now what you are going to do as you are working through the writing lab is you will select the document you want to take a look at the top of the page here on the left. And over here on the right-hand side is where you can find step-by-step instructions for drafting that particular document. So at the top of the page under drop-down box 1, you can listen to an audio lecture about the particular document. Here's the complaint. And then underneath, you can take a look at a step-by-step guide and review the different components of the document to ensure that you have them in yours and that you understand why, in fact, they are there. So that is incredibly helpful. You'll also find templates of the various documents that you will prepare for essential skills within the resources folder on the site. And then, of course, there are always templates on Lexis. You could take a look at actual summons and complaints and discovery and motions and such on Lexis and Westlaw. Now, a couple other things about the site. There is a Where Have You Been section where you can keep track of where you've been. This is just for your convenience. You can use it or not use it. But when you have been within a particular area of study support, you will see a little green dot. If you have not been there, you will see a red dot. So it is just a way for you to keep track of the support you've worked through and make sure you have gotten through everything that is there for you. And then once you have successfully completed the program, we do grant you access to the PACE graduate site. Now, PACE does not offer career placement, but there are some things that we do to assist you as you are getting out there into the workforce. One of those you can see right here. We are constantly getting job postings from attorneys in the tri-state area who specifically want a PACE paralegal. So as those come into us, we do post them on the graduate site, and if you're in the thick of the program, we will post it on your actual fall or spring or whatever semester site you are in. We'll post it there for you as well. But here on the graduate site, you will have access to all the same study support, all the same labs, our wonderful forms database for you to take a look at. The only difference, and this actually is something that I did not mention as we were going through our slides, the only difference is you will not have to deal with the pesky exams and assignments that are on your actual semester sites once you have access to the graduate site. Now, I'll just kind of take a step back and mention that all of your assignments will be posted on Paralegal Space. You will submit them on Paralegal Space and they will be returned to you with a grade on Paralegal Space. All of your exams will also be taken on Paralegal Space. So it is incredibly important that you have a computer that you can rely upon, that you don't want to throw out the window at your first opportunity, that you are comfortable with the internet if it's time to troubleshoot and I ask you to check to make sure Flash is installed. You know what that means. But you definitely need to be comfortable with computers, comfortable with your email and the internet and attaching documents to emails and such. Submitting assignments on the site is like attaching a document to an email. But just in general, that you are comfortable with your computer, comfortable troubleshooting with your computer if that may be necessary, and you certainly have word processing skills. Anyway, so as far as our career support for graduates is concerned, you will have access to this graduate site for those who have successfully completed the program. During the course of the program, we do have a job strategies section within your essential skills class, during which we will go through with you your resume, assisting you with your cover letter, and making sure that you are presenting yourself and putting your best foot forward as you are going out there and looking for a legal position. Now that is PACE Downtown. If you have not already done so, please take a look at the PACE program test drive. You can click around on sort of a modified version of the site, take a little exam, see what you may be getting yourself into. Okay, as far as our upcoming semester is concerned, so our two of our New York City classes are starting really soon. So we have our Saturday class in PACE Midtown. That's at 5th Avenue and 45th Street, super close to Grand Central, right around the corner. Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. You will have essential skills in the morning from 10 to 12, and then your substantive classes in the afternoon from 1 to 3:30. Those classes start this Saturday, September 9th. I can't believe it's September already. September 9th, and those will go through February 3rd. I'm going to skip down One real quick, just because our New York City downtown class is going to be starting on September 11th. That's next Monday. Monday and Wednesday classes, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday is essential skills, and Wednesdays are your substantive classes, September 11th through February 5th, 2018. Now we're going to jump ahead to October a little bit. We have a little break in between. Tuesday, Thursday, New York City Midtown campus classes. Tuesdays, essential skills. Thursdays, substantive classes, 6 to 8:30 p.m. Starts October 17th and runs through February 27th. And then up in White Plains at the law school, the Pace Law School. Saturday section, 10 a.m. to 3:30, essentials in the morning, substantives in the afternoon. That starts October 14th, and goes through March 3rd. 2018. Oh, wow. Tuition for the campus class is $49.95 just for being here tonight, and I know who you all are. I will send a list to Jamie tomorrow. You will receive $200 off of that tuition. So $47.95 plus your materials, which are approximately $600. We say approximately because while the essential skills books are a required purchase through the program, your substantive books you can purchase from wherever you would like. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, new, used, rent, Nook, Kindle, however you would like to get them. Also, you don't need to get all of your substantive books at once. You are going to start with tort law as your first substantive class, but you're not going to take family law until January, February, so you can certainly space out those purchases. We also have an online paralegal certificate program that is open entry and self-paced, so we are constantly taking registrations. Whenever you are ready to register and you have your financing good to go, you just reach out to Jamie and we will get you set up. You will be assigned an attorney instructor. You will have 1 year to complete the program, and it's structured just like the ground class. So you will take essential skills and you will take 3 substantive classes. The tuition for that program is $69.95, and that includes your materials. So we will send you your books for the online program. For the campus classes, we do cap the class size at about 20-25, depending upon which section. So certainly if you have a particular section in mind, it's always better to register sooner rather than later, because you want to make sure that you are not going to get shut out of your chosen section. I see that we have a question. I'm actually going to, if it's okay with you, I'm going to throw things over to Jamie in a second, so I'm going to leave your question until after we hear from Jamie, and then we'll get back to it. So I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. Okay, we also have specialist programs. These specialist programs are very similar to the online program. It is open entry, self-paced. You will be assigned attorney instructor, and basically you have to finish all of your coursework within 6 months. The specialists are for those who already have some sort of legal baseline, whether it be legal education, have worked in a law firm, etc. Usually that's sort of a case-by-case scenario that we'll talk to you about. But we have all sorts of specialist programs ranging from bankruptcy to criminal to immigration to intellectual property, you name it. There's probably a specialist there. For the specialist, you will take 2 required courses and 2 electives. And for each of those courses, you will submit 2 writing assignments and take a final exam. So again, these specialist courses are for those who do already have some sort of legal baseline. I think that's going to play into one of my answers of the questions that I see there right now. But again, structured just like the online program, open entry, self-paced, attorney and instructor guided. As soon as you have access to the website, you start plugging along with your coursework. The specialists are $19.95, and we will also send you your books for that as well. All right, now it's Jamie's turn. Jamie can finally hear me again, so that is a good thing. So Jamie, I'm going to throw this over to you so you can so you can take a look. You can explain the financing options and registration to our participants tonight. So Jamie, it is all you.
Yes, thank you, Stephanie. So my name is Jamie Leota. I'm the program manager in charge of the Paralegal Certificate Program at Pace University. So right now I'd like to go over the financing options that we have available. So the first one that we have is the tuition payment plan. The tuition payment plan is going to break the tuition into 8 monthly payments. So your average monthly payment is going to be about $624, and this is due on the first of the month for the duration of the program. Now, the first month payment and a $35 enrollment fee are due at registration. So the total due at registration for you, since you attended this webinar, will be receiving a $200 discount, is going to be $459. And then going forward, each payment, you're going to have 7 payments after the first month's payment. You're going to have 7 payments of $624. Then the next option that we have is a private education loan. So we have a whole list of loan lenders on our website. So we have this list to view a complete list of loan lenders. We also have that link on our website. So with the private education loan, you would apply directly on the loan lender's website, and it will tell you immediately if you are approved or not. And then once you're approved, they will disperse the funds directly to Pace University. So the tuition payment plan, that is an interest-free, does not require a credit check or anything like that. Anyone can enroll in the tuition payment plan. The private education loan, however, there typically is interest involved and there is a credit check. So those are the two differences. If you were to enroll in either of these, enroll in the program and use either of these two financing options, you'd have to register directly with myself or my coworker, Selena Chan. So we have our contact information up there at the top, but of course you've probably received emails from myself. All of my contact information is in the signature of my emails as well. So if you're interested in attending the program and you wanted to use a financing option, you would have to register with myself. Now, if you were to apply for a private education loan, you will have to register for the program first before applying for the education loan, because once the loan lender reaches out to Pace University, if Pace doesn't see a registration existing, they're not going to certify the loan. So definitely register with myself first, and then I will send you detailed instructions on how to apply for a private education loan. So those are the two financing options that we have. Now I believe we can open the floor to questions.
We already have some questions, Jamie, so I'm going to get right to them. So we have one student, this was the question I was mentioning before that we were going to take afterwards, who's mainly interested in immigration law, wants to know if he or she will be prepared for jobs in that area of the law after this program. Will we talk about immigration law in class, even though it's not a substantive class in the syllabus? Well, we're not really... I mean, you will learn, and this is going to sort of apply to one of the other questions that that we have up here as well. So what you're going to learn in the program is the transferable skills in the law that really you can take anywhere. You'll learn how to research. You'll learn how to just kind of figure out where you need to find what you need to find, no matter what area of law you are working in, no matter what state you're working in. And this, again, ties into the next question that we're getting. So I know that one of the essential skills instructors will often ask the students in his class what areas of law they're interested in, and kind of try to tie in examples of those areas of law into his particular lectures. There is, however, not going to be anything super specific about immigration law in the certificate program. That's something that would be focused on more in the immigration specialist program, if that's something that you may be qualified for. If you want to see if that's something that you may be qualified for, please do reach out to Jamie, and she can discuss that further with you, and again, what the prerequisites for that particular course are. But there's not going to be a lot of nitty-gritty kind of immigration law that you are going to learn in the substantive program. Again, you'll learn legal writing, research. You'll learn how to find, immigration cases and how to research immigration and such, but nothing super specific about immigration. All right, my question is, would we be learning in the paralegal course about being a paralegal in New York or in general the states? Again, it's what you're learning is will be the transferable skills really that you can take anywhere. All of your instructors are practicing attorneys or judges in the New York area, so certainly if there is something specific to New York State that they feel that you should know and feel that you should look at, other than New York procedures, obviously in New York procedures you're going to learn about the procedures in the state of New York. But as far as your other classes are concerned, if there's something specific to New York that they feel that you need to take a look at or need to know about, they will bring that to your attention. But really, what what you're learning are the skills that you can take anywhere. For instance, in New York State, the rules that if you needed to look up what the statute of limitations was for a negligence case, you would look in the civil practice law and rules to find that information. If you were, say, practicing as a paralegal in Connecticut or in Florida or in Texas or wherever you wanted to go, while that statute of limitations may or may not be the same, you would know that whatever state you were in probably has or does have a similar code where you would find that information and you would know to go and look there. So you will have some New York specific stuff, just if it's super specific in the state of New York. I actually got a question today from a student in one of our other paralegal programs in regard to just the court structure in the state of New York. And she referred to the court structure of New York State as kind of an odd bird court structure, and it really is. So, you'll learn about that specific court structure, but you'll also learn how to find out about the court structures of other states. So, there will be, again, some specific New York information, but really you're going to be learning the core skills that you can take with you anywhere. Is this program ABA approved? Oh, this is always my longest answer, so I know Jamie's going to steal herself right now for this. So I'm going to take a step back for a minute and just explain what the ABA is. It's the American Bar Association. It's a voluntary association that lawyers, paralegals, paralegal programs, etc., can join. It's not to be confused with, say, the bar of the state of New York, or the bar which attorneys need to pass in order to be able to practice in a particular state. In order to have an ABA approved program, number one, the paralegal program needs to write a check to the American Bar Association, but it also needs to have very specific course content, not just legal courses, but also a lot of just sort of liberal arts type courses, which makes the program much longer. It makes it more akin to an associate's degree in paralegal studies. Now, when this program was developed by our program developer, she was very clear and specific in developing it in a certain way so that folks who wanted to get skills to get out there and get a job quickly would be able to get the skills they needed to go out and get a job quickly. If you're looking to switch professions or start a new profession or whatever you're looking to do, you may want to do it sooner rather than later. So you may not necessarily want to wait 2 years to get out and start working as a paralegal. You want to do it a little faster than that. Also, there are about 1,200 paralegal programs in the country. Only about, I would say 250 or so of them are ABA approved. You will find that those programs that are ABA approved are more are programs that are associated generally with community colleges or smaller colleges. That don't have the same name recognition that Pace University has. Also, this program was vetted by the Pace Law School. We don't fall under the umbrella of their ABA approval, but it was given the thumbs up by the law school. I should also note that this program is taught at several other universities around the country in addition to Pace. So we're at UC Berkeley, Duke University, University of Texas at Austin, and Rice University and several others, and not one of the universities where where we have the program has requested that ABA approval or really wants to have ABA approval. Again, it's a wonderful program for those who want to get the skills they need to get out into the marketplace quickly. You'll find that there will be law firms, usually the larger law firms, who may say to you, or you may see in job postings, that they want someone who comes from an ABA approved program. Quite frankly, I wasn't sure what an ABA approved program was until I started working with the paralegal program. Whenever I would hire a new paralegal, I really just wanted someone who knew what they were doing and who had the skills and had the knowledge. And that was more important to me than than if there was an ABA after the name of the program that they went to. So ultimately, of course, it's what program you take. Your education is a personal decision, and you need to take the right program for you and what you feel is the best for you. But that is my never ending response to that question, and that's why I said I know Jamie is stealing herself for this answer. So I appreciate you. I appreciate that. I just got a comment thanking for explaining the difference. I know that took forever, but okay, this one is a little bit more for you, Jamie. After completing the paralegal course, if I decided to pursue my JD at Pace Law School, would the credits be considered as transfer credits?
So this program is a non-credit program, so unfortunately there aren't any credits bearing to it, so they wouldn't be able to transfer over. However, this program will definitely prepare you for law school.
That is an understatement. I wish this is kind of like the first year of law school in 5 months. I always say this, and then I tell people, don't actually listen to me. Don't do this. You could literally sleep through your first year of law school after taking this paralegal program. I wouldn't recommend it, but I certainly wish that I had taken a program like this prior to going to law school, because it's going to give you such an amazing base. And just so much knowledge in the first year of law school, they say it's the hardest. It is the hardest. So it gives just an amazing base, and you'll have such a leg up on everybody. But yes, it's a non-credit program, so there are no transferred credits. So anyway.
But we do have many students who take this to prepare for law school. Even in our program, there are dozens of students who are looking at law school. So an excellent precursor to law school.
All right. Any other questions? I know it always takes a minute to type the questions, and I will say that we do understand that often the best question, the most important question, is the one that you remember to ask after we've logged off for the evening, and that's totally fine. If anything should come to you after we've logged off, please do feel free to reach out to Jamie or Selena. Their contact information is right here, and they will be more than happy to assist. As we're waiting to see if any additional questions come in, I will say just one other final-ish thought. We do have a wonderful graduation ceremony at the end of each semester for all of our successful paralegal graduates, and we are actually planning our graduation ceremony for the just recently concluded spring 2017 semester. But you are awarded beautifully framed paralegal certificates. You can invite your friends and family. There's food, there's speeches. We have a valedictorian, a salutatorian, but it's really just a lovely celebration of all of your hard work and accomplishments. So we have that at the end of each semester. And I should also note that I keep mentioning each semester, we do have the program in the spring as well, always a spring semester and a fall semester. Our spring semester for each one of the sections will be starting at some point in mid to late March or so. So if the fall semester isn't going to work out for you, you can certainly keep an eye on the dates for spring, but that is certainly to come, and always does, spring and fall every year at Pace University, and our online program as well. So All right, Jamie, I don't see any more questions coming in. I will wait, another minute or so to see if anything does come in, but do you have any final thoughts to share with our participants this evening?
See. So if you are interested in registering for the sections that are starting this coming week, Saturday at our Midtown Center, and then Monday and Wednesdays at our downtown campus, we will be closing registrations for those on Thursday. So if you are interested in enrolling, definitely give me a call. We'll be able to assist you if you plan on applying for a private education loan or enrolling in a tuition payment plan. So the deadline will be Thursday. And then also, in order to get the $200 discount, definitely register directly with myself so that way it gets applied to your account. You don't want to miss out on getting that discount.
And I will be sending a list of tonight's participants to Jamie probably tomorrow morning, so she will know everybody who is here. All right. Another question, Jamie. Does Pace Law School consider you for admission if you are a graduate of the program?
Yes, they do. We do have several students who have taken our program and then gone on to law school, the Pace Law School specifically. So yes, they will definitely consider you for admission to law school. You would just have to request your transcripts from us, which we will happily provide to you.
And I mean, it's certainly not an automatic in. There are no automatic ins to law school. But it's definitely, it is certainly something that Pace Law School will consider, and certainly knows about the curriculum of the program. Once you apply to the Pace Law School. But I mean, there's no automatic in to law school, but it's certainly helpful.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I applied to law school. I know there's all sorts of factors that they take into that law school. So there's nothing is automatic in law school. All right. Any additional questions? Anybody? Guess going once, going twice. All right. As I said, if your most important question is the one you remember to ask once we have logged off for the evening, please do reach out to Jamie or Selena. Oh, my mouse is getting a little.
Absolutely.
But other than that, we thank you so much for your attention this evening, for your good questions, and for your interest in the PACE program. We certainly hope to see your names on rosters and your faces in classrooms and online classrooms. So thank you so much for everyone for coming this evening. Jamie, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you for all of your help. My pleasure. Happy to be here. And everyone have a good night. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.